conspiracy theorist Alex Jones ruled liable in Sandy Hook defamation case. Of course he was, guys. Of course he fucking was. The guy was inciting violence against families that lost their goddamn kids. What kind of fucked up individual does shit like that? What kind of piece of shit does that to people? A fucking opportunist grifter. That's what kind of piece of shit does that to people. That's what kind of person does that. Anything for the money, right? At the expense of others who've already been fucking traumatized. How much more are they supposed to fucking go through? Some of these parents killed themselves over this shit. You think he's going to give money to their fucking funeral funds or anything? Fuck no. He doesn't give a fuck. He got a fucking paycheck. He doesn't give a shit. Well, I hope he loses every fucking dime he has off of this shit. Family members of some victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting have won a court battle by default against right-wing media personality and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and his InfoWars website. A Monday ruling from a Connecticut court, which found Jones and the other defendants liable for defamation, brought swift reaction from an attorney representing the families, Sandy Hook victims, high-profile politicians, and those defending Jones in the suit. Connecticut Superior Court Judge Barbara Bellis cited the defendants' willful noncompliance with the discovery process as the reasoning behind the ruling. Bellis noted that defendants failed to turn over financial and analytics data that were requested multiple times by the Sandy Hook family plaintiffs. Attorney Chris Mattei, who represents victims' families in the suit, said in a statement the plaintiffs were grateful for Monday's ruling, but said their battle to shed light on how deeply Mr. Jones has harmed these families continues. Because it's a civil case, civil cases, there is no jail time. Only monetary compensation. Mr. Jones was given every opportunity to comply, but when he chose instead to withhold evidence for more than 2 years, the court was left with no choice but to rule as it did today, Mattei said. While the families are grateful for the court's ruling, they remain focused on uncovering the truth. On December 14th, 2012, 20-year-old Adam Lanza killed 20 first graders and 6 educators at the Newton, Connecticut elementary school. Lanza fatally shot his mother at their home before going to the school. And he killed himself as police moved in. However, the shooting was portrayed on Jones' InfoWars talk show as a hoax to push the supposed political will of the left, involving actors aimed at increasing gun control. Hey, JJ. How you doing? The families of 10 victims pursued a defamation suit in Connecticut against Jones and his media holdings for perpetuating the false narrative that the shooting was a hoax. Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, a member of the U.S. House at the time of the shooting, who was sworn into the Senate less than a month later, told MSNBC he has continued to stay in touch with the families of those killed in Sandy Hook. These families have been victimized over and over again, Murphy said, first by losing their loved ones, and second by having to deal with the terror of a conspiracy theory movement that thinks they are all actors, thinks they are all politically motivated, thinks this was all done as a stage act to try to promote a political agenda in Washington. Murphy, who filibustered on the Senate floor in 2016 and gave an emotional speech on gun control, said some of the victims' families have gone into seclusion because of the harassment they faced from Jones's followers. That's what I'm saying. This dude's a piece of fucking shit. And if I ever saw him fucking face to face, I'd tell him the same fucking thing. I'd tell him he's a piece of shit. Motherfucker. Fucking fat ass. It's sick. And I'm glad that at least today, several families from Sandy Hook have their day in court and have been able to reach some justice, Murphy said. The case in Connecticut now falls in the hands of a jury to decide what, if any, damages the victims' families would be entitled to. A status conference has been scheduled for Wednesday. Attorneys for the defendants indicated they would pursue an appeal, Reuters reported Monday. We remain confident that in the end, the Sandy Hook families cannot prove either liability or damages, said InfoWars attorney Norm Pattis. We think their lawyers know this, hence the desperate effort to obtain a default. Thank God for appellate courts, Pattis said. Separate court rulings in Texas last month amounted to similar legal victories for the parents of 2 children killed at Sandy Hook. In a deposition linked to that case, Jones acknowledged the shooting did occur. But Jones also claimed he did not wrong the plaintiffs in this case. This guy is a fucking joke, man. Anybody that believes this, you know how full of shit this guy is? He is so full of shit that most of the conspiracy theory community chalk him up to being full of shit. Even the community he espouses does not believe the bullshit that he puts out. No, they don't. He's been called a grifter by the conspiracy theory community since I was involved in conspiracy theories. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. It was said over and over and over again that he is there to delegitimize any serious examination of any of these conspiracy theories. The whole goal of him being out there was to move people to the right. This was the plan from the fucking beginning with this guy. It was always the plan. I want to see him stripped of all his fucking assets. I want to see him lose every single bit of credibility that he has. I want to see him lose his following. That's the type of shit this motherfucker needs. Because you go put this guy in jail, or the guy dies and he becomes a martyr, and then somebody comes after him that's twice as fucking bad as him. No, the only way to get rid of somebody like this is you have to find a way to demotivate his followers. You have to find a way to show on his face what a total piece of shit grifter he is to those who have been blinded by him for so fucking long. But that's the only way you get around it. That's it. There is no other way. There's no other way. And somebody in chat is saying the FBI is investigating child porn that they found in court papers and evidence. And especially when it comes to things like pedophilia and shit like that, one thing I've noticed is that the guilty seem to scream the loudest about that shit. Just soak that in for a second, what I just said. The guilty scream the loudest. You had Donald Trump screaming about pedophilia, Matt Gaetz screaming about pedophilia, Alex Jones screaming about pedophilia, Jim Jordan screaming about pedophilia. What do all these people have in fucking common? They themselves have been a party to some kind of pedophilia, child porn, or some shit like that. I'm pretty sure that his family has already de-affiliated themselves. I think his wife divorced him. Said he was incredibly abusive. I want him to have no influence at all over any fucking buddy. That's how you take down somebody like Alex Jones. I'm glad that they fucking got this default. I hope he loses in the appellate court system, which I'm sure he will. I'm not going to be satisfied with justice until the dude loses everything he has because of the pain he's inflicted on so many people with his fucking lies. And it wouldn't hurt if they'd actually do some investigation into whether or not he could be seen as a stochastic terrorist. Because what he did caused people to act in a way that hurt others that were already in fucking pain. So let's hope for that. This ain't over. But goddamn it, it's a good fucking start.